Hi, I'm Wendy, and in 1992 I moved to Los Angeles to make my mark in this town. It's 20 years later, and like thousands of other hopefuls, nothing has stuck, no doors have opened, and no one knows who I am. The only thing I got going for me is that I've been close more times than I'd like to count. I've been a finalist in some prestigious screenplay competitions, I've been an award-winning short filmmaker in some second-tier film festivals, and I've won several unknown comedy competitions. Problem is, almost and close only count in bowling and biopsies. But the great thing is, I know I'm not alone. So I've traveled around the country to interview many of my friends who've also struggled to get the brass ring and have them tell their stories of being almost.
Hi, I'm Jackie Cation, and I almost made it into the last comic standing house twice.
Hi, I'm Jordan Summers. I was in a band called The Imposters, and I almost was in the biggest band in the world.
I'm Christine Blackburn, and I almost got kicked out of town.
I'm Greg Arce, and I almost became a professional magician, professional writer, professional actor, a professional mentalist, and a professional human being.
Now I'm going to talk to Greg Arce. Hi, Greg.
Hello.
Here you go, some lemonade. This time brought to you by Trader Joe's. I am examining people who have almost had certain things happen in their life, and then the result of those, for good or bad,
Okay.
hopefully for good.
Then you should be interviewing somebody else. I was always a reader, so I expected, being a little kid, I thought at the time that I was going to get a book and it was going to tell me like magic spells, and I would say something and something would vanish. And it's a trick. And I'm like, these are tricks. And I was like almost like pissed at it. I remember doing the first, I still remember, it's called Angel Coins. 4 quarters, 2 of them, one hand to it, and 1 appears in the other hand. I did it to my mother. She goes, oh, wow. And I went, no, it's a stupid trick. I'm doing this and this. And it took me like a few years to get over that, where I was actually doing kids' parties, and I was a kid. I was actually doing little shows. There's pictures of me doing shows for the local kids where I was charging like 15 cents to get in. Woo, the big money. But it's like early 60s. That was big money.
I know for a 5-year-old.
Oh my God! I was like the Trump of the block.
It's like
I was
30 gumballs.
Yeah, I was like, here, have a Coke on me, kid.
Was there a point in your life where you maybe got up to some level in magicianry, and then it just kind of didn't work out, or?
I have always been the person that if I needed to go right, I made a left, and I didn't know it at the time. If I had to flip the coin heads, it would always land tails. I've always said I'm the type of person that if they change the lotto tomorrow to be just 2 numbers, 1 and 2, but you can only pick one of them, I would pick 1, everybody would pick 2, and they keep becoming millionaires.
Right.
And I do this for months and months. It's got to happen. And then I'd switch over to 2, and 1 would start coming up. That's just been the way it's been. When I moved out here in 2000, I started going to the Magic Castle just for fun because I was doing my film. But I started working out my stuff there, and I would pack what they call the museum room, which is a little room downstairs. It's like I had standing room only. People are cheering me, and this is the best show here, blah, blah. I wouldn't get a job out of it. Yeah, they loved me. They took my card. Nobody would call me. A day or so later, I'd find out that a guy was trying to get into that room, but it was so packed that he couldn't even walk down the stairs. So him and his girlfriend, we'll walk away. And some other friend magician saw that. Said, hey, you want me to do some stuff for you?
Yeah.
And they would do something on the side. And they go, hey, I have a country club. You can work at my freaking Meanwhile, I'm packing them down there, but the right guy hasn't walked in. Even though I do magic, I also do a lot more. I got more into mentalism over close to like 2 decades ago. I was into it. I got really, really, really into it. Late 90s, and I got extremely into it when I moved here. I was trying to convince my mother. I said, look, if you let me go for a year just on my own and try to become a professional magician, If it doesn't work, I'll come back and study anything you want. If you want to be a doctor,
Right.
but she refused. She goes, if you don't go to school, you'll never go back, and blah, blah, blah. So she wouldn't, and if I had done it at the time, I probably would have been because I was that close to knowing what I was doing, and
Right.
I had the contacts. So now I was deciding, okay, what can I study? Well, I'd always written short stories also. So I thought, maybe I could be an English major.
Right.
The other thing is, in magic, there's a saying from Robert Houdin, and that's actually the name of a very famous French magician that's known as sort of the father of modern magic. And he always said that, basically, you paraphrase him, he said, a magician is merely an actor playing the part of a magician. So basically, it's someone who's acting like a magician.
Right.
So I thought, well, let me study theater. That might help the magic. So those are the two things I was going to do.
It was all about being the best magician ever.
Yeah. Or I thought maybe I could be a great writer because I always wanted to write.
It was the early days of MTV during the time, and there was a contest going on to make a video for Madonna.
Oh, yeah,
So tell that story.
I guess that's my biggest at the time close call. One of the guys that was working with us said, hey, Madonna's having this weird contest, make my video for True Blue. So we all got together, and there was like 5 of us that were working on my script, and we became like a group, and on one weekend we shot this video for True Blue. Not thinking anything, just for the fun of it.
Yeah, and how much did you do on that video?
Everybody did their own parts. Like I'm always been considered in these groups, like I'm always like the acting coach, the kind of producer, so I found the locations, I found the certain props. I was always on set for the lead guy. Had a weird habit of the moment he said action, he became very effeminate in everything he did. We sent it out, not thinking a word. All of a sudden, I guess about a week or so later, we were told we're in the top 10. Like, what the hell? What? Where? And then we start hearing on the news that we're the only ones in Florida that won this thing, and they're going to have an event for one day where they couldn't, MTV could not figure out who could win. So they decided for one day they would play only those 10 videos. And at the end of the night, people would call in, and it would just by vote calls.
Wow.
So we were there with
First American Idol.
Yeah, so we were like, the local news was in the guy's house and stuff, and we're all like, oh, and we get the call, we won. We're like, we got 22,000 votes, and then one below us got like 10,000. We're like, we're jumping up and down.
Right.
We're getting called. Tomorrow we're supposed to meet on Good Morning America. They got to talk to us, and we're going to meet on MTV and talk to them.
Right.
And so all of us are so how are we going to do this? Where are we going to meet? And then these 2 guys that were in this group started going, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, how are we going to coordinate? He says, yeah, they want us to go. And we're going. He goes, no, we are going. And that we started like, what are you talking about? Well, these 2 guys, the one who originally saw it on TV, and his friend who was working with us, who barely did anything except complain, they sent the paperwork and only they put only their 2 names.
Ugh.
So we were out. So they won $10,000, and I always joked that all I wanted was the year's supply of Twix bars because that's what you were going to get.
Just give me that, damn it.
And we had to see them the next day talking to Madonna. And then, like idiots that they are, they were offered to do videos for Playboy, I think for Disney, but videos. And they said, no, we're going to shoot films next. They never ended up doing anything. And then for a year, I had to see that fucking True Blue video because she then put out her own version, but ours was liked better by the public.
Yeah.
So it was always in the top 20. So for a year, I had to see this on MTV. I turned around, True Blue, fuck me. Okay, Den started in the idea started in the early 90s actually. I was in a tour with my ex, and I was listening to Eurythmics' Missionary Man. And originally I was going to write a really intense story based on the idea of this priest that is a sicko. But I decided, oh man, I'm not going to be able to get the money together. This is going to cost millions. So I decided to do a pared down version of the idea of that. Okay, there's this sick guy. The little twist is going to be that he is a priest, but I can't do all these other things. And I was debating on the name. And the funny thing is, I have this weird thing with names also. I originally was going to call it Den Rules because I like names that mean 2 things, because we never understand if the guy's name is Den or if this is his den. And I like the fact that when you hear Den Rules, it means these are the rules of the den, or that this guy Den rules here. With my luck, I swear, as usual in my life, the moment I wrote that on paper, I look up and there's a broadcast of the new show on MTV, Road Rules, which means the same. They meant it the same way, and like, fuck me. I ended up doing 120 setups in that day.
Oh my God.
It was like, the camera's here, cut there, you got it, boom, go, boom. And from that, we shot a 5-minute trailer. My friend, who was also an editor, happened to be working in an industrial company where he was the editor there. At night, he would sneak in and edit the stuff for me. I wrote it. I had a friend who was going to help me do it. I was trying to get the money together, and suddenly I had shipped it out here, the script, and one of my friends I had in the past, I used to be a page for NBC and CBS. He was working as an agent, but not that type. So he sent it to another guy at Preferred Artists, which is a big agency. And all of a sudden I get a call. And I get my normal weird calls. This is Brad Rosenfeld, and I have your script in. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, it's really interesting. I've never read anything like this. This is a really good script. And I'm like, okay. He goes, but we're not picking anybody new today, so good luck. And I'm like, huh? What the hell was that about?
Call?
I know, but it's like, okay. And then about 2 or 3 days later, he calls me again. He says, hey, I keep reading the script. It's really, really, I've never read anything like this. This is very interesting. Okay, he goes, yeah, but we're not taking anybody, so, good luck with it. I'm like, what the hell? Are you poking me for the fun of it?
Where's Brad Roosevelt now?
Yeah. And so he calls me a third time. And he said, I've had my other guys read it, and they all say the same thing. This is very fascinating. Is there any way you can come out? And I was living in New York at the time. Can you come out here to meet with us? And I'm like, well, it just so happens that a month from now, my best friend in Arizona is renewing her vows, and she wants me to come out and be the best man. I show up here, and I would say this one is my fault. If I had to take it back, this is definitely my fault. I come out here, and the first day I show up, I call Brad, and I get the traditional, since they don't know me, oh, wait, hold on, wait, and I'm on the phone for 45 minutes before he gets to me.
Wow.
They're like, oh, no, he's on the meeting, hold on, can you hold it? Yeah. Always wait, okay. I meet with him the next day. The next day, because he met with me, I'm like the hot shit for a day. I call and it's like, bump right. But the unfortunate thing, and if I had read the books I now have read, I probably would have had a different take on it, is that Hollywood and these people always want to put their finger in shit.
Yeah.
Even though he's telling me, this is the oddest script,
right.
I can't believe where this went,
right.
I've never seen anything like that, now he wants to change the ending. Because he wants a Hollywood ending. Because my ending is everybody dies.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. And there's a reason for it, because I wrote it to be a sequel. That you're going to find out this crazy thing at the end. No, come on, we love this. He's telling me that the female... Well, yeah, she's a good, strong character. Everybody loves her. She's got to die. He wants her to live. And I'm like, I don't... So I'm tossed out. I fly back to New York. I tell my assistant guy that's with me the story. I'm like, okay, let's try and do it ourselves. Because the one thing he did tell me is, by the way, if you do make this, you're going to get noticed. That's all he kept telling me. He said, I got to do this. So I'm starting to get money together. My mom lends me $20,000. I'm ready to shoot it for about $30,000. I'm looking at locations. I have some of the actors. I have some of the crew. I'm ready to go. All of a sudden, I get a call. My mother has leukemia. I basically tell my cast and crew, done. This has got to stop. I leave my job. I leave my apartment. I go to Miami to take care of my mother. She passes away after a month. And now my dad, who's always been the worst patient in the world, with diabetes and had a little bit of Alzheimer and depression, all of those three things kick in like gangbusters. And I'm stuck in Miami, which I hate. So I was there for 2 years. My father then passes away. I decided I'm selling the house. I'm going to use the money and come out here. I came out here in April of 2000, got people together. We shot it in the all of September of 2000. Completely got it done by the summer of 2001, and we started sending it out to film festivals. And the first film festival that picked it up was the New York Underground Independent Film Festival. A few years go by. I can't sell it. I go bankrupt. I'm putting all my money and energy into it. I'm bankrupt. I'm like trying to now work in the real world. And then all of a sudden I start getting calls and emails from people who had seen my film in 2001 saying, have you seen this film Saw? Like, what are you talking about? Because at the time they had only seen it in other film festivals. And they're saying to me, this looks like your film. Like, what? So it finally comes out and I go, oh. And I start doing research, and those two guys are from Melbourne, Australia. We played in Melbourne, Australia. They probably were film students at the time. My film
But
won.
set a timeline. When did your film play?
My film came out in 2001, so it was already been in film.
And when did it play in Melbourne?
Like 2002.
What time of year?
God, in the summer probably.
Uh-huh.
In like the summer, and Saw stuff didn't start coming out until like 04.
Uh-huh.
And on top of it, our poster that we sent there looks just like their doll. Because one of my den posters is a big white face with a red target that looks like their little puppet doll guy. Not exactly, but close enough that people said, this looks like their puppet. I actually like my story.
Yeah.
But here's another weird thing. I like Saw. As a horror movie goes, I like Saw. My film is not a horror movie. It's more of a psychological thriller. I like Saw. I even like the second one. I don't like ones after that. They were just trying to make money. I told fans, I'm hated in Saw fan sites, by the way, because they thought I was like just trying to get money. And I would come up and say, look, I actually like Saw.
Yeah.
I actually like Saw. Having said that, I can tell that somewhere along the line they probably saw my film, got the idea, tweaked it.
So, let me ask you this. Like, throughout your life, you've had so many scrapes of being almost something else, and that would have gotten
Including
you,
almost human.
and that would have gotten you, you know, like maybe to a different level, or gotten you to a point where you could have done more stuff that you wanted to, and not what you're forced to do to live, which
Right.
is
Be
be a security guard.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you take from that? I mean, does it get you depressed, or how do you feel about being almost all this stuff?
There are definitely moments where my life sucks and it's not what I want to do, and there are many moments where I'm going, what the fuck is going on here? Especially when I see other people around me that either do the same stuff and somehow get those breaks and happen to be at the right place at the right time. But then there are other moments when I try to at least see that if I die tomorrow, I will have at least done things in all those fields, where there's many people that are the armchair everything.
Right.
They're the armchair comedian. Oh, I could be that funny, but they'll never get up there. They're the armchair writer who'll never write, oh, I can write a letter, so I can write a novel. They'll never write anything. In my magic world and my mentalism world, there's people on all the forums that are, oh, I see through that, that's the best, I can do better than that. Yet all they've done is practiced in a mirror and maybe does stuff to their friends. All this bad luck hits me stronger now, I guess, just because it's happened so many times that it seems like a pattern.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm almost not surprised.
Yeah.
It's almost like I would love to bet against myself, because then I would win. If I could say, oh no, he's going to fucking lose this, put money on that. It's just right now I'm in that sort of middle, like I'm like this at the moment, whatever this means. Somewhere in yoga must mean something.
Well, thank you for talking
Okay.
with me. It was Greg Arce, everyone.
I hope you enjoyed our show. Come back next week to hear more stories of people almost making their dreams come true. See you then.
And when I started to caress your breasts were styrofoam, but I guess that's okay. Hey, c'est la vie.